The bay to me, it looks like God's country. Some days it lets you know who the boss is, and some days it's the most rewarding job on the water. My family have always worked on the water. Chart number 12221 literally defines what I grew up on. It's the lower Chesapeake Bay and the seaside of the eastern shore, and that is my life.
I'm William Reynolds, retired Coast Guard, 26 years, Senior Chief Bosun Mate, and I'm Nathan Reynolds' father. I was fortunate enough to be able to spend a lot of time with him after I got out of the Coast Guard. His teen years were spent with me on the water. We've been out in some bad situations at night with a lot of wind, a lot of sea. That sort of thing doesn't faze him.
I grew up on the lower Chesapeake Bay, and I was able to see the many things that can go wrong out there on the water. I chose to go in the Coast Guard because the Coast Guard's a life-saving service. I chose because it's one of the things that I feel like I can make a difference in my background being on the water. That evening, it was forecasted to pick up. It was a small craft advisory, and we got a phone call about a vessel taking on water, and they had 3 feet of water on deck. They lost radio contact. Once they did that, it was bad news. Normally means that they lose power or the vessel's gone down. We arrived on scene from the last known position, and there was nothing to be found. It was eerie because the wind was picking up, and I knew we weren't going to have a lot of time.
He did his initial search pattern. He asked for further instructions from sector. They had their hands full. He wasn't satisfied waiting. He knew it was a dire situation. He took all the data that he had, laid out his own search pattern, told his crew what he was doing, went right back on the search.
The second leg, I made that right-hand 90-degree turn, and that's when we heard them. They were yelling and screaming. All 4 persons were there floating together. They had a life ring, and they also had a chair they held with them. And I guess that was the only 2 things that they had when the boat went down. The actions of my crew most definitely saved their lives. It's the little things that make a difference. It's the little things that bring everybody home safe. It's those things that make a big difference when it comes to completing the mission successfully. If I had a choice, I'd work on the Chesapeake Bay for the rest of my life.
When you look at him, when he's standing at the wheel and he's out here doing his thing, he is a part of the Chesapeake Bay. He's a waterman first and foremost, and I'm proud of that.
You can go out and run boats and save lives, and you can do a lot of things. It's the attention to detail that makes a difference. My dad's taught me everything. Everything.
It's nice for me to be able to pass on to him what was passed on to me from my father. And what I hope he gets to do is pass that on himself.